Cameron Stewart, Locked On Baylor. A Big Ten coach by the name of Matt Rhule. That's right. Oh. He is so back. Just said that, this is a great quote, there are lots of kids I would love to recruit that have committed to a Big 12 school or somewhere else like that. They come to camp. And if you want to play in the Big 12 over the Big 10, I got it. But make no mistake, there's a big difference. The Big 12 is going to go nuts now. I know that. Rhule continued, I'm going to be on X and all that stuff. But it's reality. The Big 10 and the SEC, especially moving forward, are going to be higher than everyone else. I think it's great. The guy that can't win at Nebraska is coming after. What are they playing, like the Wasabi Fenway Bowl this year, which was their first bowl game in a millennia?
In a long time, yeah. In your lifetime, anyway.
And he's like, you know what? I get kids all the time, every day. Some Big 12 kid calls me and is like, man, it's just different up there, Matt. In case he wasn't a used car salesman enough when he was at Baylor, Matt Rhule is now taking unnecessary shots at the Big 12 that has, to me, sure, if you're the SEC and they moan about it all the time, like, oh, we're so much better than you. But the Big 10, I just don't know if you've really got a leg to stand on outside of Ohio State, who still lost to Michigan.
Right. And this is like, I love my analogies. This is like Matthew McConaughey in Dazed and Confused, but he's striking out with the high school girls. And he's like, fine, just keep dating high schoolers. It won't be the same as me, loser who's an adult. That's what it's like comparing Nebraska to saying, yeah, sure, go to anywhere in the Big 12. Like it's just, by the way, 3-6. In the Big Ten last year for Matt Rhule, which is the best Nebraska season in a decade. So I like Matt Rhule. I'm not one of those Baylor fans that hates him, but I see this and I'm like, really? Because you got $10 million a year to run the Carolina Panthers into the ground because of the Big 12. Okay, because you coached in the Big 12, a conference that you also couldn't win. You didn't beat a ranked team in that conference. So it must be really, really good and so underserved that they're not even getting rankings for all these great teams that beat you, Matt. But surely that Baylor is just like institutionally, they can't win the Big 12 championship. Like no one after Matt Rhule, right. Even coaches who have floundered a bit, they couldn't also win a title, correct? Of course. Yeah, of course. And if there was anywhere to check if Dave Aranda had done it, that would be really damning for Matt Rhule. But I thought about this quote too of like, I have respect for Nebraska just as an overall program. Great tradition, great fans. They punch the place out all the time, no matter how bad they suck. They've proven that time and again. But like, what would compel a kid to go to Nebraska right now rather than Kansas State or Iowa State or these truck stops that everyone thinks of in the Big 12? Like, what is better about finishing in the bottom half of the Big 10, which is a 2-team league, versus competing for a championship in the Big 12, which has the most parity of any of the major conferences? Like I don't understand. There's nothing that Nebraska, like we've caught up to Nebraska in strength and conditioning. Okay. And then they outlawed steroids and it got way better for everyone else. And we kind of caught up to that. Like most of the major programs have college football stadiums of 80,000 or above. Everyone in the Big 12 is putting guys in the NFL. Like that's not an issue. I just don't understand it. And it's always these bottom feeders, Drake, this. The people that are doing the SEC chants, right? Those aren't Georgia fans. Those are A&M fans. The guys that couldn't crack it in the
Shane
Big 12.
Beamer, like the most vocal guy. Yeah, the most vocal Shane Beamer. Yeah.
It's the same thing with the Big 10. Like Ohio State and Michigan are not like, yeah, Big 10. They're like, no, we're Ohio State and Michigan. You guys are the teams that are on our schedule. Illinois and Northwestern and the school, Purdue, right? You're the ones. And Nebraska.
UCLA, USC. I mean,
you're the ones going Big 10, Big 10, Big 10, big. Like that. Those are the schools that are doing that. Matt Rhule. Come on.
Matt gets to stay in the Big 12 news cycle here. Man,
on X. I'm going to be on X.
Somebody's going to tweet this out, aren't they? They're going to post about this when I say it. But the Big
exactly
12
what he wants.
They're going to talk about it, and it's going to be a headline. Sure,
could be a gemstone.
He's got. That's good. Him and who's the Arkansas coach that drove the program into the ground? Who was that? Chad Morris. Chad Morris.
Which one, man?
Would have been a great Jesse Gemstone. Just right down.
Does Dabo have to be the dad?
Yeah, he's got to be an Eli.
He's
sure.
one. I haven't seen the show. I just know generally.
We have established, I think, in modern college football that Omaha's not that cool. Like used to, it was. Yeah, I want to go play for Nebraska because they've got Tom Osborne and they're a powerhouse.
It's Lincoln.
But now, is it? Lincoln, Omaha is the same thing. It's the Omaha Metro, if you will, which is just an even crazier thing to say.
Omaha Jason,
Given the opportunity to play for $2 million in Orlando or $2 million against Rutgers, Illinois, and Washington every year, I think that there are kids who are going to side against going to Lincoln and playing in Nebraska. But Matt Rhule still feels the need to talk that talk. Yeah, again, I hate when you make good points. It's so rare, but you've done
Worst
it twice
person
now today.
Makes a great point.
And you've hit it again with Ohio State doesn't say, "Oh, we're the mighty Big Ten." They say we're Ohio State. And by and large, when Alabama's winning a championship in football, they're not saying SEC. They're saying we're Alabama. This is what we do to win national championships, whether Mississippi State does or not. I just don't think Matt Rhule, who was built by the Big 12, has a leg to stand on unless if Ryan Day says this, you're like, well, it's kind of, you did just win the national championship, so you kind of have some acumen here. But for Matt Rhule, who floundered his first 2 years in a very tough situation and then goes to one Big 12 championship and is terrible at Carolina and hasn't built a program yet at Nebraska, this just seems stupid to me.
Yeah, it's just, and it is that way. I think that way more about the Big Ten even than the SEC. Of like, you guys are really two schools. Penn State did make the Final Four last year, so I got to give them some credit there. Usually they cannot be top 25
wild too.
Yeah,
like I don't. It's
with a quarterback who's not as good as Sawyer Robertson, by the way.
No, college football is not. The last 2 seasons has been so discombobulated because of the way the transfer portal. I mean, how did who was McNamara? Was that the quarterback from Michigan?
Yes.
How did he win a national? How is he a national championship winning starting quarterback? Like
JJ McCarthy.
McCarthy. Who's McNamara?
Cade McNamara.
Yep. Michigan?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's
this last year. I don't know.
No, they had nobody this past
but
year.
But Drew Aller being in the semifinal and McCarthy winning a national championship shows that college football has been so spread out the last 2 years that crazy stuff's happened at the very top. Yeah.
You can also, you want to talk about starting quarterbacks win the national championship? You want to talk about Big Ten? You want to talk about Big Ten quarterback that won the national championship? Because I wonder where he started. I wonder where Will Howard started his career. I wonder where he cut his teeth. Ooh, he's not out there saying, "Oh yeah, I played in that minor league for a couple of years." He wasn't saying that. Matt Rhule should maybe take some notes from Will Howard, a guy who knows how to win in this league.
I bet Matt Rhule played Will Howard once. Maybe I don't know. Kansas State was a revolving door of quarterbacks there for a second. Was Howard? He was the starter when they beat TCU in Arlington. I think Avery Johnson may have gotten a snap. That's the year before he got to college.
Yeah, but Matt Rhule wouldn't have been there.
Rhule wouldn't have been there, but I bet Rhule played against him the year prior.
He played against Skylar Howard.
Skylar Thompson. Yeah.
And together we can get college football quarterback.
Adrian Martinez, maybe, or his brother. Something like that.
Which one of the brothers played in Nebraska?
Nebraska, yeah, and the other one was Kansas State.
There's some Nebraska fan who's already put 4 comments down, and is typing a 5th.
Baylor has traded. That's the SEC on CBS.
Yeah,
I don't know the NFL draft one. Baylor. There's been a trade.
Lundquist, man.
There's been a trade. Baylor sending Rob Wright to BYU in favor of Keelan Murray, and this is Locked On Big 12, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Today's show is brought to you by Game Time. The reason it's brought to you by Game Time is because there are playoffs going on right now across professional sports. If I want to go watch those playoffs, I go to Game Time. I take my happy butt right there and I get the cheapest tickets possible. 110% of the difference if you find it cheaper anywhere else. NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs. Can you believe it? They're all going on right now. Last minute deals can help you save up to 60%. Buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, all-in pricing means no surprise fees at checkout. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account. Redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed.